doing my best to make you part of Versus the Rest.
Hey, back once again with Versus the Rest. So today we got some more Jimmy Dore to watch. So he's going to talk about Pfizer, which you might have a relationship with. I hope not. And Anderson
Hey,
Cooper.
shocker, everybody. Big Pfizer owns the cable news hosts.
Cable news.
What?
Yeah, Pfizer caught funneling $12 million to Anderson Cooper to promote the mRNA vaccines to America.
$12 million?
Pfizer has funneled a whopping $12 million into the bank accounts of CNN host Anderson Cooper as part of a deal to promote the company's mRNA
Okay, so he knew in
jabs to
advance.
the American
It wasn't
public.
just like, oh, thank you.
They say they're toxic, but Kurt, you and I know the vaccines are safe and effective.
Of course they are.
Slow the spread
Slow
of
the
hospitals
spread.
being clogged up with
That's
horse
right.
paste.
Slow the spread of human beings.
They're very safe. So that I
Yeah.
don't. According
People went
to
blind.
according to Robert F.
What, like CNN, Anderson Cooper? I don't watch CNN or anything. Well, it's like, is there anybody who watches CNN anymore? It's like the only reason why it's still alive is because Trump is not out of the race yet. I guess that's why. And but what about all of you, like other cable hosts? I'm sure like many of you won the same money as CNN. And what are you doing? You're like, you sold people vaccines that didn't work that great. And did you get the bonuses? Did you get the money to sell all that propaganda, or you just like kept your job? You need to step your game up. Like, if you want to be a good propagandist, you need to ask part of the money for you to lie, you know? You shouldn't do that for nothing just to keep your normal job. It's like lying should be an extra.
Kennedy Jr., very few people are aware of the fact that Cooper gets the majority of his CNN paycheck from Pfizer.
I wasn't aware of that.
I wasn't aware of that.
But that's according to
80%
Robert F. Kennedy. Isn't he like a conspiracy theorist?
of Cooper's $12 million annual salary, roughly $10 million of it, comes directly from Pfizer, and that's according to RFK Jr. And he's worth every penny.
It's true.
You couldn't get fined.
Probably is.
You couldn't get finer representation for your product. Anderson Cooper has a $12 million a year salary, Kennedy revealed during the segment. Well, $10 million of that is coming from Pfizer.
It's a lot.
So his boss is not CNN, his boss is Pfizer.
Pretty much.
And they're unashamed about it. They're unabashed about it. They say on his program, brought to you by Pfizer. Of course, he's not going to tell you the truth about Pfizer's products. He's going to try to sell it to you. He's going to try to scare the hell out of you, saying, if you don't take this, you're going to die.
It's kind of like politics. You don't really sell your product. You just say that if you don't have my product, everything else is worse, I guess.
But just imagine what Rachel Maddow gets paid from Raytheon.
Yeah.
That's what he's getting. And by the way, I'm getting really afraid that RFK Jr., if he doesn't stop telling the truth, he's going to die.
Yes. I mean, it's just what's his name?
I don't know. I think like Robert F. Kennedy is, he's old. I don't know how old he is, but I think at this point, like dying to this system is almost like the biggest win you can. It's like,
Danny Palachuk was at the show at that festival.
like JFK's a hero.
All I want about
for that.
RFK is who is his vice president? That guy's got balls.
So here's what they're talking about.
By Pfizer, making a difference.
Of course they were making
Brought
a
to you
difference.
by Pfizer.
CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer. Early Start. Brought to you by Pfizer. Friday night on Aaron
All
Burnett
that for
Out
just
Front.
masking symptoms.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
This week with
Making
George
your dick hard.
Stephanopoulos is brought to you by Pfizer.
This weather report brought to you by Pfizer.
Today's countdown to the royal wedding is brought to you by Pfizer.
And now a CBS Sports Update brought to you by Pfizer.
Meet the Press Data Download. Brought to you
so funny.
by Pfizer.
This portion of CBS This Morning
Sponsored by Pfizer.
On how
Thank
to
God
find
they're
the
there.
hidden sugars in the American family diet. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Of course.
To be fair, Anderson Cooper is hardly the only mainstream media whore peddling drugs at his viewers in exchange for cash. Most of the corporate media are beholden to Big Pharma as a financial lifeline. Hence why the bulk of media commercial breaks these days are advertisements promoting the latest drugs. For many years, CNN's competitor Fox News has been pushing the latest pharmaceutical drugs in between media segments. Even though Fox tends to lean more conservative, or at least
Well,
they used to, it is
not
still
for
paid by the
money.
same people that run CNN to report the news.
Jesus Christ.
Of course. It's a false
So
dichotomy.
Fox News does the same thing. No wonder they could afford to drop Tucker. Am I right?
Yeah,
yeah.
their biggest show.
What this means, of course, Kurt, is that there really is no left versus right or Republican versus conservative when the likes of Pfizer is controlling what gets said.
Well,
Whether right-leaning or left-leaning, all it really is behind is this as a smokescreen is one single uniparty pushing dangerous drugs on viewers.
yeah, well, everything has to do with military, drugs. No, maybe not big tech. I guess like the Democrat side is more on big tech. Yeah, well, they're all in it together. Or banking, anything that has to do with the Federal Reserve, or it's a uni party. Like you're not gonna have any democracy there. No.
That's not true, RFK Jr. Raytheon owns a lot of it too. Okay?
Such a conspiracy theorist.
The media in our country is an extension of the pharmaceutical industry, Kennedy said.
Yes, it is.
75% of advertising revenues now on the mainstream media are now coming from big pharma. And that ratio is even higher for the evening news because the evening news is where you see pharmaceuticals advertised. Now, we looked in.
In most countries, they don't even allow this because they see a conflict of interest. They see that like advertising pharmaceutical products on the TV is not like it's not humane, I guess. They see it.
I have to look into it again. Those numbers aren't. I think it's 75% of advertising for the news.
Okay, like not
comes
everything
from big pharma.
Yeah.
He's saying of all mainstream, I think it's for the news. But anyway,
Did
Jimmy might be right.
America takes 4 times as many drugs as other
Oh, yeah.
countries
Yeah.
because they ever
Because
since they started.
I don't
we're
know
the
if it's
only
because of-
country in the world besides New Zealand that allows advertising of drugs direct to consumers on
Yeah.
television.
As I said.
And the result of that is Americans take 4 times as many drugs as the rest
I
of
don't
the
know if it's the result. I
always
think
thought
it's
that was
more of a.
strange. Even way back when, I was like, well, don't you have to have a prescription for that?
I don't know. I don't know if when you go to the doctor, if you can ask specifically for a medicine or something. I always thought like it was more like you got symptoms, you go see the doctor, they figure out what's your problem. They don't tell you how to fix it, but they tell you they got this pill right here, and everything's going to be all right with that one. But I don't even see what it gives to really to do advertisement, because what's the best for income is everything that's still patented. And if it's patented, that means the doctor will surely subscribe that one, unless somebody like found a similar kind of recipe or whatever. It still works. But like, when is really people going to ask, oh, you got I don't know, amphetamine or something like thiazide, whatever. I don't know all the names of the drugs. It's like, you know what? I would prefer to have this one instead. Like, when is somebody's going to be informed enough about that? Especially if they just watch TV. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand what really gives. I see it for the Pfizer pill that gives erections. That, yeah, because it's people are going to ask for that. Like, they're not going to ask to be healthy. They will not do what it takes. But if it makes them hard, they're going to do it. They're going to buy it. They're willing to. They don't care. I don't know if they're going to call their insurances. It's like, you know what, honey, I'm not going to get them because the insurances are not paying for it. Like, never happened once.
Those.
Maybe.
Like Dan Adam in the comic had a great one about when it goes, ask your doctor.
Ask your doctor.
He goes, shouldn't
But
the doctor tell me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't help you. But what about Ozempic? Oh, maybe that.
It's crazy that I was speaking exactly pretty much the same.
How much do
I assure you, I didn't watch it before.
how much do the commercials say to give you?
Yeah.
And no wonder they go after independent media so hard. If there's too many competing outlets, they can't pay everybody $12 million.
No.
They can't look. They can't bribe more than 2 parties or 3 channels.
One of the reasons Tucker Carlson was kicked off Fox News is because he started to break the script.
Well, we don't
Carlson
know
started
exactly,
to raise
but-
suspicions about COVID injections, for instance, which is a big no-no when the companies that make COVID injections are paying your salary and keeping your network on the air.
That doesn't help. Can't
Starting to
bite the
sound
hand
like
that
a
feeds.
collusion theory or something over there. Isn't that what it's starting to sound like?
I'm no Rachel Maddow.
You say
but
this sounds like
Starting to sound like a collusion theory or something.
collusion theory.
Isn't that what it's starting to sound like?
I'm no Rachel Maddow, but I think they're colluding.
The minute someone on a corporate news channel dares to start telling the truth, chances are that he or she will be encouraged to stop or else get fired. Did I write this article?
Yeah, what did you?
It sounds like this is. Are they transcribing my show?
That's because you're a conspiracy theorist,
Carlson
Jimmy.
learned this the hard way, but Cooper is still raking in the cash because he's nothing more than a big pharma puppet on the screen. Well, that is true.
But I mean, like, who is going to refuse $10 million a year to lie? I would. I probably know. It's still not enough. Like, I really hate lying. For like, imagine every day. You can't do that for 365 days a year. I don't know. I wouldn't do it. Many people would, and I don't know if you can really hate some. You can hate him. Yeah, if it's not for your values. Yeah, especially the danger it causes and potentially death. We don't. I mean, maybe I would be a conspiracy theorist to say so, but maybe there was more people dying, maybe less. I don't know. Maybe you believed also in the product. If you would believe in your product and you can sell it for $10 million a year, I think it's an easy bet. It's like it's an easy win. Maybe he does believe it in it, or maybe he just like doesn't watch any information and creates like a wall of cognitive dissonance. So he lives very perfectly with $12 million a year.
So there you go. Wow, that's a lot of money. That big pharma.
Would you do it, Jimmy?
His salary? That's a bit.
Of course. Of course.
But so that means. Does he mean like they're paying it directly to him?
No, they pay it to CNN, and CNN pays him. But
really,
they buy the ads on his show.
What is the
and
ratio?
So I'm going to guess 75% of the ads on his show are from Big Pharma. So 75% of his salary comes from Big Pharma.
Is that the percent of the FDA that they also pay for too?
It's something that's like that. Yes, like around 70%. Yeah, Big Pharma. It's one big corrupt system, and everybody and all the comedians forgot. I was watching another comedian. Now I love Wanda Sykes. And she also in her thing, she did the "you're dumb if you try to get informed about COVID vaccines."
Of course.
Well, I'm just shocked at the people who acted like they were really smart, and then they're like, "Oh, you read?" Like, I didn't expect that to come from
comedians. Comedians, you're not skeptical of
some
Big
comedians.
Pharma.
I expected it, but it's the ones I'm surprised by are the ones that were like, acted like they did read. They acted like all the dumb hicks don't read.
Yeah, but now they shamed you for reading.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also, it's like you're too stupid to be doing your own research.
Yes.
If you can read. And I know I'm too stupid. I just listen to what the man on the TV says.
That's right. So
yeah, since I know I'm more stupid than the people telling me the information, then obviously you are also not intelligent enough to understand or do your own research. I don't know. It's good. It's a downward spiral. You're just like making people just more stupid as time goes on, thinking stuff like that.
So if you get cancer, you just go to one doctor and do what he says, or you go get 3 or 4 opinions, and then you have to get informed, and then you make the decision.
I'm a socialized system
that you want to go with. That's exactly how it's always worked. But somehow when it came to COVID, I had that same argument with someone. I'm like, you know how medicine works. You're supposed to get a bunch of opinions. You get as informed as you can, because you have to make that decision.
Maybe it's the American way.
Yeah, right.
So people were literally during COVID advocating for medical patients to stay as ignorant as about their medical treatment as possible. That's what they were saying, because you're too dumb to understand it.
Yeah, right.
Hey, come see us live on tour. We'll be in Bakersfield, Baltimore,
not
San
much more to say
Francisco.
about that. Jimmy's always right when he speaks about COVID, and he says that they're very safe and effective. Don't worry. Of course, on YouTube. So that's what I must say too, I guess. All right. Have a nice day.